Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Moksha Sannyas Yoga, the perfection of renunciation. Asto Dasod Adhyaya. Chapter 18. Oh, number was 20, we are doing from 26, and we need up till 25. Yes.
Okay, 26, yeah.
Mukta Sango Naham Vadi, Uti Usaha Samanvitaha, Siddhi Asiddhya Nivikaraha, Karta Satvika Uchyate.
One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness.
Number 27. Ragi karma phala prepsu, labdo him satmikpa suchiha, harsha shokanvitaha skarta, rajasaha parikirtitaha.
The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion.
Number 28. Ayuktaha prakrta sabdaha sato naiskritiko lasaha visadi dirgha sutricha karta tamasa uchyate.
The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is a materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
29. Buddhe bedam duteshchaiva gunatas trividam shunu prochyamanam asesena pratuktvena dhananjaya.
O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature.
Number 30. Pravritim cha nivritim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya veti buddhi sapata satviki.
O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness.
Number 31. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sapata rajasi.
O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
Number 32. Adharmam dharmam itiya manyate tamasa vrata sarvata vivitamscha buddhi sapata tamasi.
That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance.
Number 33. Dhrutyayaya dharyate mana pranindriya kriyaha yogana abhicharenya dhuti sapata satviki.
O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness.
Number 34. Yaya tu dharma kamartha dhutya dharyate arjuna prasangena phalakangsi dhuti sapata rajasi.
But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna.
Number 35. Yaya swapanam bhayam sokam visadam madam evacha na vimunchati durmedha dhuti sapata tamasi.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such in unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness.
36. Sukham tva idinim trividam shunu me bharat sabha अभ्यासात् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति.
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
37. Yattad agre visama iva pariname mrutupamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam.
That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
38. Vishandriya samyoga yattad agre mrutupamam pariname visam ive tat sukham rajasam subtam.
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be in the nature of passion.
39. Yat agre chanu bandecha sukham monam atmanah nidra lasya pramadotam tat tamasam udaratam.
And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
40. Na tad asti prithivayam va divi devasa va punah sattvam prakriti jayuktam yad abhi syat viguneha.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is freed from these three modes born of material nature.
Number 41. Brahman Kshatriya Visam Sudra Namcha Parantapa Karmani Paribhaktani Sabhava Prabhave Gunaheha.
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy.
Number 42. Samadamas tapasocham shanti ajavam evacha nanam vignanam ashikyam brahma karma sabhavajam.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
Number 43. Shoryam tejo duti daksham yuti chapi aplayanam danam ishwar bhavasya shatram karma sabhavajam.
Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas.
Number 44. Krishi goraksha vanijam vaishya karma sabhavajam paricharyatmakam karma sudya swapi sabhavajam.
Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas. And for the Sudras, there is labor and service to others.
Number 45. Swase karmani abhirataha samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachunu.
By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done.
46. Yata pravati bhutana yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyachya siddhim vindati manavaha.
By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
Number 47. Shreya swadharma vigunaha padharma swa anustithat svabhava niyatam karma kurvam napnoti kilbisam.
It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions.
Number 48. Sajam karma konteya sodasam apina tyajit sarvarambha he dose numai me nagni ivavrataha.
Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature. O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault.
Number 49. Ashakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruha naiskarmya siddhim paramam senadikachati.
One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
Number 50. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma tathapnoti nibuddho me samaseneve konteya nistagranyasya yapara.
O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge. By acting in the way I shall now summarize. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishangi Mataji, thank you for your recitation. Hare Krishna, Sailesh Prabhu, thank you for your recitation of the English. Those who have just joined us, warm welcome on this most auspicious of days, Gaura Purnima, to join our chat session. Thank you very much. I think most of us on today's session are regulars. Is anyone joining us for the first time today? Just looking at the names here. I don't think so. So how did y'all spend your Gaura Purnima? Shabani and Girish Prabhu, Shabani Mataji and Girish Prabhu, how did y'all spend today?
Hare
Krishna.
We made, Prabhuji, we made prasadam and we did Satyanarayan Katha, and then we made prasadam, and then we prepared the boxes and we shared, distributed to the neighbors.
Okay.
And we did, and we did prayers and everything. And then we offered the bhoga to Lord Krishna and Gauranta, and then we shared with the neighbors.
Yes.
And we went to the temple as well, Prabhuji.
Oh, wonderful. And Sipra Mataji, how did you spend your Gaura Purnima today?
Just 1 second. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, it was unmuted. Yeah, actually, it's nice. I have Krishna Balaram and also, the picture of Gaur in my own village. And, I worship that deities. And I just made some prasadam sweets and I offered them, and I haven't had chance to distribute the prasadam. We just had it and kept it for the children to come, and the 2-3 days later. And I just I had nice class today, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the whole afternoon. I spent that, listened to the Gaur Katha, and it was wonderful. Shutapa Prabhu's class. And I really enjoyed, and whole evening also I listened to the Gaur Katha in the YouTube, and I spent it, and now I'm just made some bhoga, and I worship my deities, and then now actually I'm just listening to, came to join your class. It is not bad actually. So I wish I can do more, but whatever I got opportunity, I just did it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Sounds like you had a really wonderful day. Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu, what did you do today to celebrate Gaura Purnima?
आपने 4 चांद नहीं 4,000 चांद लगा दिए आपने तो एक बार जोरदार तालियां मुझे
Can't hear properly.
Oh, something's happening here. Okay, I'm just muted those. Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu? Okay, maybe he's busy.
Yeah, hello, Hare Krishna, how are you?
Hare Krishna, Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu. Just asking for a few devotees to share how they celebrated their Gaur Purnima. And I thought I'll ask you.
Yes, we got up early to take darshan at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, you had Mangal Arati Darshan.
Mangalati darshan, so we were blessed to have that. And then we came back home and did our chanting and also taking darshan of various temples on Mayapur TV. Taking a bit of rest because feeling the effects of early rising and not as young as you are. And then preparing some bhoga for the lordships. And again, taking darshan at 5 o'clock at the temple. Beautiful, beautiful darshan. And yes, and then watching Gaurati, the program, manner program, the initiation ceremony of Nanda Vraja Prabhu and his wife online, and then the Gaurati online at Soho. And here we are in our Gita class, in the Gita session. We are so fortunate. This is the realization that I have. Why does Krishna take so much trouble to come? Because he feels compassion for us. That is causeless mercy. So thank you for your association and for the wonderful association you've been doing since last March, coming forward this way. And it will continue for a long, long time.
Thank you, Prabhu. 1 year now. So I think most of you would have this experience. These festival days, they are referred to as the mothers of devotion. Just like mothers nourish their children, mothers care for their children. So in the same way, these festival days, they are called mothers of devotion because I think all of us have this personal experience of how enlivening it is. From the morning, the whole day service, hearing while we're doing service, constantly hearing. And when we go to bed on these festival days, it's just full of absorption on the Lord. So it's wonderful. It'd be nice if everyone could do this. Mataji, would you like to share your day?
Krishna Prabhu, yes.
Normally, when there was no COVID, we don't plan so much everything, but we just go to temple and we spend all day at the temple. And when we go there, there's always plenty of services to be done, whether we are committed or not. But in this COVID time, we are home, so we plan. So we got up early for Mangalarti, then greetings, then class. Then there was an Abhishek at Soho Street for Gundithais, Abhishek for Gundithais, so we enjoyed that. And then we started cooking. How many? I think we cooked about 18 items for
18.
our Sisi Gundithai, yeah.
Well,
Well, usually we cooked about 5 items anyway, so extra 13 items we did in between myself and Madhvi, my wife. So we offered them. Then we booked appointment at Bhaktivedanta Manor for darshan. So we went there at 6 o'clock in the evening and came back. And here we're having a nice association of you and others.
Nice. I'm glad I could get your darshan.
No, I forgot one thing. Yes, in the afternoon.
We dressed our deities and we decorated the altar in the afternoon for evening.
Decorated our home altar with leaves and flowers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your day with us.
And the leaves and flowers I use, not bought from the shop, but I went near, we have got a private park here. So I went in there early in the morning and I pick up some leaves and flowers, you know.
Giving blessings to all the residents.
Wonderful. You're engaging them in Gaur Nitai service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Once one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, you know, what happens to the flower, you know, the plant when you we offer a flower to Krishna, and then Prabhupada said the whole plant is benefited. They get a chance in their next life to be devotees. It's wonderful.
I like to tell you one thing. When I went in the park to pick up some leaves and flowers, and one man came, he had a camera on his neck, and he approached me and he said, I don't know who he was. And then he said, why are you picking all these leaves and flowers? Because this is private, isn't it? So I said, yes, it is private. I know that. And I own the property in this society because we got a big complex, you know. So, and I said, so he said, why you are picking all these leaves and flowers? So I said, to offer to the Lord, to our Supreme God, you know. So he said, why don't you buy them? I said, I bought them as well as I'm offering this one because we have got a special day today. So I like to offer, not bought from the shop, but as well as fresh one, you know, like natural.
Oh, nice.
And also I told him, I said, by doing that, I'm doing this one. So everyone who lives in this society, they all get a benefit.
And was he satisfied with that answer?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So
Hare
I
Krishna,
will...
Prabhuji, how did you spend your day? We would like to hear.
How did we spend our day? Oh, okay. It was very busy. Got up in the morning, I chanted. I went to the temple. We set up our book table. I met the devotees who were there. And then from the temple, I came back home and cleaned the house very nice. And then we started our puja. We have Radha Madhava deities. We have Gaur Nitai. We have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. We have Giriraj Shila and Sham Shila, Shila Prabhupada deity. So we bathed everyone, we dressed everyone. We made garlands for them. And then I was preparing all the boga for Vrinda Devi to start cooking. And then at 6:30, we left to the temple. We took darshan and I just came back now and the class was starting. So it is a full day and I'm feeling enthusiastic. So thank you for asking.
Thank you. Nice to hear.
Yeah. So I'll share my screen today. I'll just briefly talk about the verse under discussion, and then we'll talk something about the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Aschachadi Shatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So text number 27. Raji karma phala prepsur lubdho imsat mako suchihi harsha shoka vita karta rajasa parikirtitha. Word for word translation, Ragi, very much attached. Karma phala, the fruit of the work. Prepsu, desiring. Lubdha, greedy. Imsa, atmakaha, always envious. Asuchi, unclean. Arsha soka, anvitaha, subject to joy and sorrow. Karta, such a worker. Rajasaha, in the mode of passions. Parikirtitiha, taha, is declared. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A person is too much attached to a certain kind of work or to the result because he has too much attachment for materialism or heart and home, wife and children. Such a person has no desire for higher elevation in life. He is simply concerned with making this world as materially comfortable as possible. He is generally very greedy, and he thinks that anything attained by him is permanent and never to be lost. Such a person is envious of others and prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. Therefore, such a person is unclean and he does not care whether his earning is pure or impure. He is very happy if his work is successful and very much distressed when his work is not successful. Such is the worker in the mode of passion. So yesterday we read the consciousness of one who acts in the mode of goodness. Detached, devoid of false ego, determined, enthusiastic, unwavering in success or failure. And if we compare with this verse, it is the direct opposite. Attached to work, desires to enjoy results, greedy, envious, impure, subject to joy and sorrow. So this Kali Yuga, it's like almost engulfed by the material modes of passion and ignorance. And it is very difficult for the living entities in this Kali Yuga to elevate themselves out of the mode of passion to the mode of goodness. Therefore, we see that the majority of people in Kali Yuga, these are the qualities. This is the consciousness by which they act. And there is very little hope for one in this Kali Yuga to come out of such a consciousness. Very difficult. But there is one saving grace, and that is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Adi Leela, 14th chapter, text number 1, there Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow the other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the only saving grace for all of the unfortunate souls who have taken birth in this Kali Yuga. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he advented himself specifically to benefit the residents of Kali Yuga. The Lord is very pained to see his parts and parcels, the living entities, entangled and suffering. So therefore, he appears to mitigate that. But this, the Lord appears in many incarnations to do that, to mitigate the suffering, to give knowledge, to purify. But there is something very special about the incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he comes to give what no other incarnation has given. And what is that? That is Krishna Prem. There is something about Krishna Prem that is quite extraordinary. The love of Krishna's devotees are extraordinary, because mostly people are accustomed to worship God in the mode of, or in the mood of master and servant. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the various types of rasas, the various types of rasas. And not only that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Karuna avatar. Recently we were hearing Sutapa Prabhu speak, and he says there's different words for mercy, like Doya, Kripa, so many words. But this word Karuna is most applicable to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the mercy that he comes to give is of a completely different nature. Because he's come in the mood of Srimati Radharani, that mood is very special. There's no one that loves Krishna more than Srimati Radharani. And her love is called Mahabhav. And nobody can experience the Mahabhav that Srimati Radharani experiences. When that love is directed towards the Lord, it's called Mahabhav. And that same love, when it's directed to the living entities, it's called Karuna. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, coming in the mood of Srimati Radharani, that mercy that Mahaprabhu brings is quite extraordinary. I'm not sure if many of you all are aware of this, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in this material world is extremely rare. Mahaprabhu, he appears in only one Kali Yuga out of 1,000. That is once in Lord Brahma's 24 hours. And if that is calculated, it works out to 8,640,000,000 human years. That's the frequency of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. 8,640,000,000 years. Very rare. And the gift that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings is so rare. And if we just think about it, it's like, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, relative to where we are now, appeared 500 years ago. If you put on a timeline of 8,640,000,000 years, you plot 500 years. It's like tiny. So we are so fortunate, extremely fortunate, that we have taken birth at a time when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just reinvented himself. And it is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, the Krishna consciousness movement, it lasts for only 10,000 years in the Kali Yuga. So we are at the very beginning of this wave. So when we celebrate Gaura Purnima, we are celebrating quite an extraordinary event. Imagine we're celebrating in 8,640,000,000. We're celebrating that event. You know, what a celebration that's going to be. And we're celebrating, in one sense, the start of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. For the next 10,000 years, like now, maybe we're celebrating Gaura Purnima in Watford, maybe there's someone in Birmingham and one in Croydon. But there'll come a time soon where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted in every town and village, his name will be heard. So can you imagine that one day, when in every town and village, there are many devotees celebrating this Gaura Purnima. This Gaura Purnima festival was inaugurated by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who appeared after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is something we should just feel, what is my good fortune? How is it that I'm becoming part? That where I can celebrate Gaura Purnima, where like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just appeared. And we should take full advantage of these Gaura Purnima festivals. We should just absorb ourselves, completely absorb ourselves in the pastimes and the Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, there are two types of discussion we have about the Lord. One is tattva, the truth about the Lord's appearance. And then the other is Leela. Leela means pastimes. Our acharyas have taught us that without tattva, we may struggle to really appreciate the Leela. Like I intend to read a little bit today about the appearance pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But without understanding who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, then we may not appreciate the Leela so much. Like just now, we may speak to an audience. And in that audience, there are different people who have different knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who he is. I remember around 35 years ago, when I was just coming into Krishna consciousness, I went to the temple, and now temple in Durban, in South Africa, we have deities of Radha Radhanath, and on their right is a beautiful deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's the first time I saw a deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I asked the devotees, who is he? And they said, he is God. He is Krishna himself, who's appeared in this Kali Yuga. And I thought to myself, if he is God, how come I've never heard of him? And it took me, repeated hearing about who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. And I think all of us who have this experience, every year that when Gaura Purnima comes, there's a new bhav that comes with celebrating Gaura Purnima. As we hear, as we read more about the tattva of who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we hear of his pastimes and his tattva, it becomes an ocean of bliss. So I wanted to now maybe read from two books, Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, with some descriptions about the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In his Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says that Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. So all he would do, he'll give in code some description. So I'll read a bit from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat and about the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then I'll read a little from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, because both of them have a special taste. So where we start to discuss, we know just briefly that there are two reasons why Sri Chaitanya, two principal reasons why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. One is the external reason, and the other is the internal reason. The external reason is Sri Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu. He saw the condition of Kali Yuga, how people were not interested in devotional service. And he said that he will make such a plea for the Lord will appear. So Advaita Acharya, he worshipped the Shaligram Shila with Tulsi leaves and the Ganga Jal, and he cried. Imagine the Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, crying. He cried and he told the Lord, nobody but you yourself will be able to liberate these residents of Kali Yuga. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the cry of Advaita Acharya, he said he was in the spiritual world. He just left everything, not even ankle bells. He didn't even dress properly. He just decided that he's going to descend. And the internal reason that Lord Krishna, he was always wondering what is it about devotional service to him that is so attractive that Srimati Radharani experiences so much of bliss. Also, he wanted to experience the love that Srimati Radharani felt. So he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani as Krishna. So we read from text 145. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, entered the bodies of Sachi and Jagannath. So before this, there's some description of who Sachi Mata was and who Jagannath Mishra was. They were the parents. So firstly, the Lord entered into the bodies of both Sachi, Mother Sachi and Lord Jagannath. And at that moment, the moment the Lord entered into the bodies of Sachi and Mother Sachi and Lord and Jagannath Mishra, the words Jai, Jai appeared in the mouths of Lord Ananta. As if in a dream, Sachi and Jagannath Mishra heard those words. Now we know Ananta, Lord Ananta, the entire universe rests on his hood. He's an expansion of Lord Balaram. For eternity, he's been glorifying the Lord. So the moment Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared into the body, he started shouting, screaming, Jai, Jai. Although at that moment their forms shone with great splendor, other persons could not see it. So immediately there was a great effulgence that appeared in the body of Sachi Mata, Jagannath Mishra. Although at that moment they were aware that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was about to descend to the material world, Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods came and recited many prayers. So instinctively, the demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Indra, and everyone else, they came. And they were standing in front of, at the home of Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra, offering prayers. All these descriptions are present, although concealed in the statements of the Vedas, of this, there is not any doubt. So basically they were saying that if you look at the Vedas, although it's concealed, you can see so many revelations about the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is one nice book that is full of those quotations. You can read that. Now please hear the praise of Brahma and the other demigods spoke with great devotion. By hearing this confidential praise, one becomes attracted to Lord Krishna. So I'll just read one or two and then I'll move on. The demigod said, "Glory, glory to Lord Mahaprabhu, the Father of all. Glory, glory to the Lord who is the start of the Sankirtan movement as descended to this material world. Glory, glory to the Lord who is the protector of the Vedas, religion, the devotees, and the Brahmanas. Glory, glory to the Lord who is time personified, the crusher of the non-devotees." So they offer these beautiful, beautiful prayers to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so many wonderful, you can read this. If those of you, you can download Chaitanya Bhagavat from the internet. It's quite easy. How can we describe the bliss that will fill the world when meeting with your servants, you will dance? By always meditating on your lotus feet, your devotees remove all inauspiciousness from the world. The soles of his feet break the inauspiciousness of this world. Their glances purify the 10 directions. When they raise their arms and dance, the troubles present even in Swargaloka perish. Your servants are like that. Their glory is like that. Their dancing is like that. And then they quote Padma Purana. O King, when the devotees of Lord Krishna dance, their steps crush the inauspiciousness of the earth. Their glances destroy the inauspiciousness of the 10 directions, and their raised arms push away the inauspiciousness of the demigods. So in this way, Lord Brahma and the demigods remaining is invisible. Daily they would offer praise to the Lord while the Lord was in the womb of Sachimata. So then the time appeared. Then, actually they said, after 9 months, the baby was not coming. And Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi were becoming worried. Then 10 months passed. Then 12 months passed. And then when the full moon rose in the month of Falgun, February, March, the Lord openly manifested himself. And it's described that all of the auspiciousness that resides in the limitless universes, they appeared on earth with the Lord. And when the Lord appeared at that point in time, there was big Sankirtan taking place. Why was there big Sankirtan taking place? Because the Lord appeared during the time of eclipse. And to counteract the inauspiciousness that comes with the eclipse, everyone goes and chants the holy name of Lord Hari. So the Lord just arranged it that when he would appear, that the whole atmosphere was just resounding with the chanting of the holy names. Limitless millions of people bathed in the Ganges and called out, Haribol, Haribol. The sound of Lord Hari's name filled Nadia. Then it filled the universe. And even then it could not be contained. Hearing this great wonder, the devotees declared, may this eclipse last forever. So there's a beautiful description of the chanting that was taking place when the Lord appeared. And there's some description about the beauty of the Lord. His handsomeness of his limbs defeats the sunshine. His eyes cannot bear to gaze. My eyes cannot bear to gaze on him. I cannot speak any metaphors to describe his long, slightly curved eyes. And there's beautiful descriptions about the bodily features of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's further description about all the residents of Nadia, all coming together to glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when gazing at their son's beautiful face, Sachi and Jagannath became filled with bliss. What ritual should we perform? We do not have anything. Hurrying there, the ladies of the village exclaimed, Jai, Jai. And all of the relatives hurried, and Jagannath's home was filled with happiness. And then Sachi Mata's father, who was a great Brahmana, Nilambara Chakravarti, he came to look at this infant boy's horoscope. And when he looked at the boy's horoscope, he was filled with wonder. And he said, there is a prophecy. One day a Brahmana will be born, will be king of West Bengal. Perhaps this boy will be that king. In time, we will know if this boy is indeed that person. Then Nilambara Chakravarti, who was a great Brahmin astrologer, began to describe the infant boy's astrology. He will be so great a scholar that he will defeat even Brihaspati. He will be a treasure house of all virtues. The infant is Lord Narayan himself. He will establish the essence of all religion. And then there's this beautiful description of predictions of the great fortune or the great appearance of Lord Vishvambar. And then after reading the horoscope, it was declared by Nilambar Chakravarti that this boy will be named as Vishvambar. Vishvambar means one who removes all auspiciousness. So it was a truly unique and extraordinary event, the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's 5 minutes left. Maybe in this 5 minutes, I'll just read a little from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the other biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So with your permission, let's read. This is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter number 13. And we'll read from text number 52. 52. So here it is explained, to fulfill a particular desire within his mind, Lord Krishna, Rajendra Kumar, decided to descend to this planet after mature contemplation. Lord Krishna therefore first allowed his family or superiors to descend to the earth. I shall try to describe them in brief because it's not possible to describe fully. So before the Lord appeared, all of his senior associates appeared. And who were they? Sri Sachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, Madhavendra Puri, Keshava Bharati, Ishwara Puri, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Pandit, Acharya Ratna, Vijayanedi, and Thakur Haridas. And then there's a description of one great devotee called Sri Upendra Mishra, who had 7 sons, and his 5th son was the name of Jagannath, and that was Jagannath Mishra. And then there was Srimati Sachi Devi, a very chaste woman whose father was Nilambara Chakravarti. And it is said before the Lord's appearance, all the devotees of Navadvip used to gather in the house of Advaita Acharya. And in this meetings, the Vaishnavas used to recite the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, decrying the paths of philosophical speculation and fruit of activity, and establishing the super excellent of devotional service. Then there's some description about Advaita Acharya, how he cried, and this cries penetrated the entire universe and it reached the spiritual world. And before the birth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath Mishra or Mother Sachi gave birth to 8 daughters. And each of those daughters, just after the birth, they died. And there's a whole explanation for that, which we won't get into that. And they were very unhappy at the death of one child after the other. And they worshipped Lord Vishnu to please benedict them. And after worshipping the Lord, they got a son called Vishwarup, the elder brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was an expansion of Baladev. And it is explained he appeared in the womb just before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to create the most auspicious atmosphere. Lord Sankashan appeared. And then in the month of January 1406, Lord Krishna entered the bodies of both Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. And Sachi Mata was so amazed. Everywhere she would go, while she was still pregnant with Lord Sri, with Nimai, people would offer respects. And in a dream, Lord Jagannath would see the effulgent abode of the Lord in La enter his heart. So in this way, time passed, and in the year 1407, under a neem tree, Sachi Mata gave birth to Nimai. And that's how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets his name, Nimai, because he took birth under a neem tree. So you can read this, and if you like, I can also, this has been the best part of my day today. The whole day I've just been hearing the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it was so relishable. If you're not a reader, all of this is also an audiobook format. You can hear these beautiful pastimes, the appearance pastimes of the Lord. Because of time limitations, I will unfortunately have to stop here. I will take any questions, comments, or reflections. Feel free to speak your own realization of your relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how it has changed your life, what happiness you feel, and who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means to you. We can take maybe 1 or 2 reflections or realizations if anyone would like to share that. Hare Krishna. Ajay Prabhu, your name always comes up first when I look at the attendees. Would you like to share anything about your own personal realizations about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and your relationship with him?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My realization is similar to yours when you started your journey. But we are all familiar with Krishna and Ram, and Shiva, but not Chaitanya. And same goes for me. And I unfortunately came to movement fairly late in life. So I'm still learning, and I'm still getting to know him. And that's where I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. If you read Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can get to know something of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So thank you for sharing that, Ajay Prabhu. Anyone else would like to share? Anna is saying, very purifying to hear how rarely Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. So we feel even more fortunate. Very much so, Anna. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Vani Mataji.
Prabhuji, like same with Ajay Mukund Prabhu.
Yes.
We, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we came to know about Lord Chaitanya. Otherwise, like he said, we never heard about Lord Chaitanya. But when we come to know that he is, like Krishna, Radha and Krishna, and we are so fortunate that we came to know by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Because and he came as a devotee, and he is such a merciful Lord. So it's better to go to Krishna through Lord Chaitanya than directly go through Radha and Krishna. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha and he is, as a devotee, he is very, very merciful. And the other thing I like is that he doesn't take any offenses. So like we are the practitioner, practitioner bhaktas. So, we do make mistakes, and so many mistakes.
Yes.
So that one thing I like, that if we make mistakes, then Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that he forgives us.
That's so true. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada has one disciple called Dhananjaya Prabhu. Many of you may know him. Srila Prabhupada once instructed Dhananjaya Prabhu, please make dolls of Gaur Nitai and make sure that every home has these dolls of Gaur Nitai. Prabhupada called them dolls. I said, even if they eat meat, if they simply see Gaur Nitai, they will be benefited. They will be benefited. So thank you for that, sharing that, Krishna Vani Mataji.
One question.
Yes, Mataji.
Like you were sharing, Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Yes.
I never understand, like years, because, Lord Chaitanya was born in 1407.
Yes.
But AD 1486. So how do they calculate that?
Oh, I'm just going to mute you for a while because of the background sound, Krishnavani Mataji. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not very familiar about how the calculations are done. All I know is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is about, it's not exactly 500 years ago. It's more like, 525 years ago that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. The Western calendar, it's like before Christ BC and AD. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not very familiar with those. But maybe someone else who knows about time can share that with us.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Anyone that feels that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has really touched their lives in a profound way and feel very gratefully fortunate to somehow or the other have developed a relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please, I'd like to hear your share, your realizations.
Can I speak a few words in that respect, Prabhu?
Yes, certainly. You have the name Chandra Chaitanya Das, so certainly we must speak.
It is the mercy of my Guru Maharaj and the devotees like yourself, Prabhu. Nothing of my own doing, I can assure you. I'm still scratching my head. When I was in Africa, I never heard of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he really concealed his identity properly.
Yes.
we came to the UK to educate our two sons, and it was Janmashtami time.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in South London. And we thought, Janmashtami time, where is the nearest Krishna temple? So I looked at the Back to Godhead magazine and found an address in South Norwood in South London. So we started going there regularly. I just can't believe it, but the prayers were in Bengali and Sanskrit, which we had never heard, couldn't understand what they are, but somehow or other, Krishna wanted us to go there regularly. So we were going every Sunday. For 1 year, I couldn't understand the prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly, by the mercy of devotees, two of whom are already here online, Satyana and Madhuben, who talked to you early on this evening, they are our mentors and very good friends. So devotees like them, they sort of showered the blessings and somehow gave us a little taste of what is Krishna Prem. And then I came to the manor and served under Gadadhar Prabhu for 10 years, the head pujari. And, the more you read, the more you hear, you just scratch your head. As you likely said, he comes one in so many million years. The figure is not sticking in my head, but I'm just scratching my head. Why am I a recipient of this mercy that Srila Prabhupada brought to us? I can only speculate and say that it is the causeless mercy of Prabhupada and the devotees.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. I don't think I am qualified as a devotee, but I'm aspiring to be one.
Yes. That is our good fortune. We have no qualification. We have no good qualities, but yet we are the recipients of the greatest treasure, the greatest treasure. That's what we call causeless mercy.
And this is why I appreciate it so more, because I look at the contacts I have, the colleagues I work with, and so many of them, the vast majority of them are versed in the Veda karma actions. And, I really feel for them. And we have the Bhagavad Gita classes in the office online every week. And, somehow or other, in a way that is suitable, I do try with the help of Avinash Prabhu and Ashish Prabhu to get the message across. Don't waste your time. These karmic reactions will get you quickly. Rather go to the lotus feet of Gauranga and catch those lotus feet and never let go.
Yes. Thank you for distributing Gauranga's mercy. Thank you for sharing that, Chandra Chaitanya. So we'll take one more reflection. I see Jai Radhika Mataji, you've unmuted yourself. Would you like to share your relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Yes, please, Prabhuji. Thank you. One time we had our own business and we came home, me and my Prabhuji, and there was a knock on the door. So we just opened the door and there was a devotee outside the door. So as a Indian culture, we welcome the sadhus in the house. So we just asked him to come in and he came in. So we gave him some fruits and milk because we just came home. So we didn't have any prasad prepared. So we just gave him some water and that. And he did some kirtan. He spoke few words. And then he had one album of lots of photos of deities. And he asked my Prabhuji, would you like to choose one photo out of this? So my Prabhuji flicked through and he didn't know who Gaurnita is, but he picked up that photo. And later on, he framed it and put it in our altar. At that time, we did not know anything about Gaurnita at all, but he just got attracted to that because he was feeling like, who are these into this photo album? 2 years later, that devotee came back to our home. That time, we were renovating our house. So our temple was upstairs. So he came and he saw the change in our altar because since that day he left that photo of Gaurnita, things started to change itself dramatically. It was so dramatic that in 2 years' time when he came back, We were chanting 16 rounds. We were doing services in the temple. We were going for Sangha from nothing. So he was amazed. He says, "You chanting 16 rounds? You're doing this?" He just could not. And we said, we are just aspiring for His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj to get initiation as well soon. So he was so like, oh my God, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy that in 2 years' time you've done all of that. So we both of us felt that since Gaura came to our home, it just, things started to change itself. We didn't even realize it, that people who were asking us to come to Sangha for so long, we did not go, but we started to just decide to go. And from there, we changed our lives completely.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a Gaura who came to our house and changed our lives. Definitely.
That's such an amazing story, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing that, how personal experience of Gaura. I have one question. Thank you. I have one question from Saroj Mataji. She said, I think she's got a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. She said, I've just opened my box of Chaitanya Charitamrita books today, and I noticed there are three books of volume 1. Which one should I start with? So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is
I can hear the speaker from the hallway.
Can you?
I can.
Sorry, was someone saying something? Okay, anyway, let me answer Mataji's question. So there's Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Antya Leela, and you will see these books. They should have volume 1, like they should be categorized into which is the first book, which is the second book, which is the third book. Mataji, if there's not, I'll go look at my set upstairs, and then later on I'll message you to confirm. But it should be clear there. All right, devotees, I'm conscious of time. Saroj Mataji, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just quickly to say that, yeah, it just says volume 1. It says Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, and the third one. So which one? It doesn't tell me which one to start with. So I would appreciate if you tell me. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I will do that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can I?
Hare Krishna.
It's Anna Mataji.
Yes, Anna Mataji.
I just have my Adi Leela volume 1 in front of me, and the first book which I'm reading, it says chapters 1 to 7.
Okay.
So I think that's how it's divided. So the next one could be chapters 8 to something.
That's correct. You can just see the chapters. You open up the book, Saroj Mataji, and you'll see.
You've got to start from chapter 1.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I opened the Adi Leela and it says chapter 1.
My first book says chapters 1 to 7.
Yeah.
And that's the one I'm reading. So
all right, okay.
That's the one to start with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that, Anna Mataji. And just finally, one comment from Emma Mataji came. We feel very fortunate to be on earth, the era in which Mahaprabhu appeared on this earth. I feel the more one meditates on the Goswamis and the more we perfect our chanting, the more Mahaprabhu's mercy unravels for us. This year with lockdown and GBC SPT's 1 month seminars has made me understand the potency love that flows from Mahaprabhu. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Emma Mataji. During this lockdown, we've had more time to hear from senior devotees online, and that's opened up the door to who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. So I'm sure many of you all have we're still going to finish our cooking and do some offerings and then take prasad. I'm sure some of you all have been fasting. Just note that on Gaur Purnima, we break fast at moonrise and we break with Ekadasi. We don't eat grain. That is the Vaishnava tradition. You don't break with grain. You break with Ekadasi prasad, and then tomorrow you can take grain. So I'm not sure if you've broken your fast already, but if you haven't, that's the Vaishnava standard.
Yes, Guru. Yeah, with Ekadasi.
Wonderful class. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All glories to service. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha nam bhavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantagori Vaishnavavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Gaura Purnima ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.